Hi, I'm David Smalling of Elves and Angels. I'm here to do assembly video of Jeremy's kitchen today. First of all, we're going to show you the parts, and then we'll go right into the assembly of it. First of all, the door frame. When you receive this, these knobs will not be put on. You'll put them on, and it's just a matter of taking the knob, putting a screw in it, screwing it down until it's snug, and then when you get it snug, back off on the screw a quarter of a turn or counterclockwise until the knob spins. That's what you want to do with that. So that's all set. The same thing for the cooktop. You're going to do exactly the same thing. This is our cooktop, and you're going to snug that down, back the screw off a quarter of a turn in the faucet here until it spins, and then you're all set with that. So let's see, we'll give you the rest of the parts. These are the sides for Jeremy's kitchen. That's what the inside looks like. These grooves are put there for the assembly of the thing. Your door frame goes there, cooktop here, oven shelf here, hot shelf, and this is the 1/4 inch groove for the back, and I will refer to this quite often because it's the lineup point for everything on this. All these shelves line up with the inside of that groove, so you'll hear me speak of it again. That's the sides. This is the top to Jeremy's kitchen. There's a groove on the underside that goes towards the rear of the kitchen, and when you slide the back up, that's going to lock right into there. So you'll see that as we assemble it. This is the oven shelf. I think I've already shown you the cooktop, but there it is again. These two are the hot shelves. I'm going to hold them. There's two. This is rear connector. This goes in the middle of the two backs. The upper back sits into the groove here, and the lower back locks into the groove there. And you'll see how we assemble it in just a minute here. So I'll move this here. Yes. On Jeremy's kitchen, it's different than most. Usually the upper back is the small one. On Jeremy's, it is the larger one. This is the upper back, and this is the lower back. You'll see there are two pre-drill holes. Those are to accept screws that drill into the bottom, the oven shelf, when you get to that point. And we'll start going right now here. First thing we do is move this out of the way. First thing we do is put the cooktop onto the side. I'm going to use this piece of wood here, which is actually your shelf. If you have another person to help you with this, you wouldn't need that. I'm going to put the cooktop into the groove that I spoke of earlier. And this is kind of a helper. This is just supporting this other end while we assemble this. And like I say, if you have a helper, they just simply hold on to that while you do the first step. Okay, back of cooktop lines up with the inside of the 1/4 inch groove. And my eyes definitely are not what they used to be, so I'm trying to get as close as I can. It should work for this video. That one is pretty good. The front screw, you put your second one in. Now we don't need the helper anymore because the side, we'll be using the side to hold it. I'm going to swing it around a little. Simply put the cooktop in the groove like that and line up the rear of the cooktop with the inside of the groove for the back. So it's not that hard. And then one screw in the rear, and one screw in the front. Okay, we have our cooktop on. Now we're going to swing it around, lay it on its back, like that. Then we're going to put in the door frame. The door frame has 3 screws on either side. If you have a helper here, just have them hold that together a little bit for you so you can snug it in. And it goes up tight to the bottom of the cooktop. There's 3 screws on either side of this. We're just going to use one because I don't think we need them all. And it'll cut the time of the video down. Okay. And again, I'm applying pressure to keep it tight up there. As you can see, we use a screw gun. You can use a screwdriver, it doesn't matter. It's just, I do it to save time with the video. That's what you have so far. You have the door that opens down, the door that opens sideways. That's good. Now we're going to go to the hut shelves next. And again, lining up with the rear, the rear of the shelf, lining up with the inside of the 1/4-inch groove in the back. One screw here. And one screw here. Let's see what I'm doing here. Pretty close. The reason you don't want that shelf in that sticking out there is because your upper back will not slide in properly if that's out in the middle of the track. So you just try to get it, and there's a little bit of leeway there, but just try to get it as good as you can. Okay, so we've got our 2 shelves in. Now we're coming. I'm going to drop this down on the floor because I'm not tall enough to reach there. So I'm going to move it over here a little bit. Yes, I'm going to show you how to put it on the top. As I stated before, on the underneath of this is a groove. This goes towards the rear of the play kitchen. It goes like that, because that's going to accept the upper back. And then you want the back of the top to be even with the rear of your sides. And then you just space this evenly here, this part here. You can either do it by eye, or if you want to, you can, if you don't trust your eye enough, just use a tape measure and give it the equal amount. This takes 4 screws. I'm only going to put 2 in it. We're in pretty good shape here now. We're going to do the oven shelf right now. Have something to lean this against so that you don't ding up the front of the play kitchen. You know, kinds of softwood, and you want to take care of it. So you push this in. That's good. That's good. Okay, the oven shelf is in, and like I said, one other thing, if you ever feel it like anything's too tight, just back off on the screws like I showed you before, and it will loosen, it'll give you more space. The sides of the kitchen will spread out, the parts will just drop in. It's very rare, almost never, that the things are cut too long. It's just that it's hard to understand if you're not a woodworker. You can't understand a lot of times what's built into the product to actually make it work in all types of situations and varying weather conditions. For instance, these aren't, I'm not making excuses, these are realities. Things swell and shrink, and so you have to build in everything you possibly can to make the product turn out correctly. Rear connector, it's going to fit in there, and it's going to grab the upper back. It's keeping it in place actually. Okay, let's see if that was set there for a minute. Screw. So here we go, the rear connector. This is one of those places where In certain situations, you might say, oh my goodness, it's too tight, it's never going to fit. Just back off the screw and drop right in. We've tried to think of everything in the Elves and Angels flat pack line. It's not easy. We do make this by hand, and but this does work. I can tell you that. We've been doing it the flat pack for about 7 or 8 years now, and definitely works. So that is locked into the rear connector. The back is actually locked into the rear connector now, and we just need 2 screws here. Again, actually, I can just put one in. Now I'm going to flip Jerry's kitchen up. Now, the only thing we got left is we're going to throw the bowl in the sink, that, and then we have plugs. Each one of those screw holes has a plug for it, unless we make a mistake. And the way to put them in is have Elmer's glue or any school glue or anything. Whoops, excuse me. Take the tip of the glue ball, just put a little dab right there. The wooden plug in, it's a hardwood plug. And if you have a little hammer, just tap it lightly. Sometimes these could seem a little tight if the weather has been extremely moist for long periods of time, either here or wherever we ship it to. That could be swollen, both the plug and that place, and it could be a little tighter. Just get it in there a little bit and tap it with a hammer, and you'll be all set. If this is not a surprise for your child, if you're just buying it to be part of your home, take some time with them, possibly, and share the assembly of it with them. They really get a kick out of seeing someone that possibly they don't imagine would ever be able to do something like this. To be able to put it together, and it's theirs, and it was done by you. So it's another aspect of the flat pack that I really like, because it just gives a different thing to the gift, rather than when you just cut the plastic at the top, open up the box, throw it on the floor, and say, okay, it's time to play. This is this good family builder, good home builder, and so on and so forth. So share it with your children if you can. Anyways, thank you for coming by, and we appreciate you buying Elves and Angels products.